voice for everyone. KSHB 41 News starts right now.
Sitting in the dark. Right now, thousands of people are still waiting for power, more than 48 hours after severe storms hit the metro. Evergy is making progress. The latest update shows around 14,000 customers are without power. The impacts can be seen on both sides of the state line. We heard from Evergy leaders today. They tell us that more than 3,000 employees, contractors, and out-of-state crews are working around the clock to restore power.
Just because you don't 3,000 people to get the lights back on.
Reporter Abby Dodge found an energy divide in Brookside. On one street, one side has no power, while the other side could run appliances and electronics. People with power open their doors to their not-so-lucky neighbors, and one woman told us that she's keeping her privilege in check.
This is nothing. Look where we live. We're comfortable. I sort of feel blessed to live here.
Blessed, that's the key word. You know, just down the road from Brookside and Waldo, reporter Leslie Delasport met neighbors, young and old, who shared how they spent the weekend in the dark.
I get kind of annoyed. I feel like, I don't know, there's so many people. I feel like it should be on by now, but...
In Kansas City, Leslie Delasport, KSHB 41 News.
Kansas City will offer a leaf and brush collection by appointment starting a week from tomorrow. You can use the MyKCMO app or just call 311. Drop-off sites will be open and free to use. Now, if you know someone who still does not have power, you'll want to share these safety tips. Make sure that your doors and windows are locked at all times. Any security systems won't work until the power comes back on. Also, be careful with candles that you use for lighting. Put them out before you go to bed or leave the house. And if you're using a gas power generator, keep it in a well-ventilated area away from any doors or windows, and check on family, friends, or neighbors still without power. Cities across the metro are sharing information on how to deal with problems left behind after these storms. You can find that information on our website, kshb.com. Well, people without power found a cool place to laugh tonight. The Comedy Club of Kansas City opened their doors to people still waiting for the lights to come on in their homes. Admission was free for all of these people who used the promo code NOPOWER.
Anytime we see the city in need, we try to be here as much as we can and do what we can as a comedy club.
Club owner says it's not the first time they've helped the community. He says they've offered free Thanksgiving meals during the COVID pandemic.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening. It's an honor to be with you tomorrow, and it's going to hang around through at least Tuesday, but all that air will be above us, Bryant. We won't have to breathe that smoke.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Mike. You know, the hot weather and the smoke didn't keep away a Detroit Lion with Kansas City roots from coming back home. Defensive end Charles Harris held a football camp at Lincoln College Preparatory Academy today. Kids in grades 9 through 12 showed off their skills on the gridiron. And Harris, he was born here in the city, and he played for Mizzou Tigers about a decade ago.
It's amazing because you're seeing like old coaches, you know, friends, family, peers in general. It's kind of like a reunion. It's like a reunion mixed with, you know, work. You know, there's nothing better than that.
Well, the next time he will work, we'll be suiting up to take on the Chiefs for the season opener. More from Charles in today's camp coming up later on in sports. Coming up, a rescue caught on camera. How sheriff's deputies near Wichita saved a man's life. Plus, certain travel to Missouri now outlawed. Why California is adding the Show Me State to a ban list. In Wichita, sheriff's deputies saved a man from drowning after his van crashed into a lake, and the rescue caught on this body cam video. The Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office says that a deputy, he rushed right into the water, and that deputy managed to break out several of the van's windows. Another deputy helped pull the man out of the van. We know that man was taken to the hospital, and at last check, he's not in critical condition. California officials are restricting government-funded travel to certain states that pass anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. Those states include Wyoming, Nebraska, and Missouri. California's Attorney General made the announcement on Friday. State law mandates that the restrictions happen, and there are exemptions for public safety, federal compliance, and law enforcement. Half of the states across the country are subject to California's travel ban. Coming up, extreme heat is posing a growing threat. How local counties are helping scientists study this trend.
Here's a look at that rain I talked about in the showers this morning. It just kind of stopped almost at Interstate 70. We were hoping this evening to get the rest of you some needed rain south of 70. It didn't happen, but we have a couple of chances tomorrow, Tuesday, and possibly Thursday. I'll talk about it next.
A voice for everyone. You're watching KSHB 41 News.
Last month marked the hottest June on the planet ever. Take a look at this map from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. You can see the reddest parts of this map represent record heat. The pink areas represent above average temperatures. As the world continues to heat up, a new study aims to identify the hottest spots in our community. Johnson and Wyandotte counties are taking part in a new project, and reporter Jian Kim has a closer look at its mission.
Exposure to extreme heat is a public health issue.
Jian Kim, KSHB 41 News.
Here's your latest Kansas City forecast from Chief Meteorologist Mike Nico.
Interesting story that Gian reported on. You know, these urban heat islands. I mean, of course, we see them here, but really they're all over the place, right?
They are all over the place. And, you know, before I left California to come back, I had to put a new roof on my house. I had to have these special shingles that cost more, but they reflect more light, so it doesn't put as much heat into your house. So that may be the way we're going is, you know, government mandating us to spend more money if we don't start doing something ourselves.
Yeah, emphasis is us doing something now.
Exactly.
Any little bit to kind of make things feel a little more cooler.
Pay me now or pay me more later. I mean, seriously. All right, let's take a look at the weather because we don't have any extreme heat like that, thankfully. And of course, the city looks gorgeous tonight. Humidity away too long, Bryant.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Mike. Coming up, a trip around the globe, all done within one state. We'll explain one man's journey after the break. A 91-year-old South Carolina man has finished his journey to walk around the world. Bob Vale, he lives in Greenville. Former Marine decided a few years ago to walk the distance from the North Pole to the South Pole. Once he accomplished that goal, he decided to walk the same distance again, thus making a trip around the world. He logged some of his final miles earlier with his friends and family by his side. He finished his journey just before the weekend. Talk about a man who has traveled the world.
Yeah, world traveler.
That's right.
At his own pace.
Exactly. That's it.
Looked like he had some good company, too. The storms that we're talking about tomorrow morning, you can see the radar. They haven't erupted yet. They'll start around 3 or 4. So, of course, Lindsay will be in the morning to get you through if there's any storms during the commute.
Something to keep an eye on. Thanks a lot, Mike. Let's send it over to Aaron for a preview of Sunday Sound Off. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks for that, fellas. Big dogs in the house on a Sunday. Appreciate you staying up late with us. Coming up next.